It's just past 2 in the morning. No moon tonight. No stars either. Just black. I'm looking out this sliver of glass we've got left here in the studio, and it's like the sky gave up. Not overcast, not cloudy. Just missing. Like someone poured tar across the sky and forgot to leave holes for the light to get through. Click the first link in the description or the pinned comment to get this broadcast in your inbox. The air's cold, but not in the way it should be. You can feel it when you breathe, thin, metallic, hollow, like it's not feeding your lungs, just running through them. I've got a backup diesel generator keeping this place lit. Barely. You can probably hear the low rumble underneath my voice. It's not meant to run this long, but it's still going, and so am I. If you can hear this, you're tuned to 98.7, what used to be KMRA, out of Helena. I'm Zane Thatcher. I'm still alive. This station's still alive. And maybe, if you're out there, you are too. I don't know how many of you are still listening, or if any radios are still working at all. But if you're near the base of the sleeping giant, near the remains of the Jefferson Line, or maybe even further out by the craters along I-15, this signal might still reach you. That's the hope, anyway. You're probably wondering what happened. I'm still wondering, too. I don't have a name for it, not really. No one official has come on the air in days. The White House went silent on day 2. NORAD hasn't pinged since that weird final broadcast. Just static and a 6-second loop of some guy breathing. FEMA went dark by day 4. And NASA left a message. Just one. I'll get to that. But let me tell you how it started. It was the sky. That's what I remember first. People said the northern lights were acting strange. But this wasn't green and pretty. This was like fire. Like someone lit a flare across the poles. Deep red ribbons that moved too fast, flickered too slow, and hung too low. You could see them from Texas, from Georgia. I saw a video, before the feeds dropped, of a family in Arizona watching the sky drip red like paint sliding off a ceiling. No stars, no sound, just those veins of light pulsing through the sky like a heartbeat. That was 5 days ago. Then came the burnouts. Phones died first. Not just lost signal, fried. Screens went black, batteries cooked. Then cars stopped. Not all at once, but enough to clog the roads. Enough to make people scared. I remember driving into town and seeing a Tesla smoking in the middle of the street, door still open, no one around, just a scorched seat. On day 2, the power grid buckled. Here in Helena, it started with the flicker. Lights dimmed, then surged, then blew out in a shower of sparks. Some transformers caught fire, others just hummed and went dead. Cell towers blinked off one by one like dying candles. And then came the silence. If you've never heard true silence, you'd think it's peaceful. But it's not. Not this kind. This was wrong. No engines, no planes overhead, no beeps from appliances or background hum from the streetlights. Just wind. Just the sound of breath and the quiet panic of animals who knew something we didn't. I stayed here that night. Couldn't sleep. The old battery radio picked up some military traffic. Short bursts. Code words I didn't understand. Something about celestial deviation, loss of visual sync, failure to lock. Then a scream. Just one. I don't know if it was from someone nearby or over the wire. And then, nothing. Day 3 was when people stopped pretending this was a power outage. The grocery store had its windows smashed in by morning. I saw a man take 4 crates of water and punch a teenager in the throat who tried to grab one. There were no sirens. No police. No one in uniform. Just people filling backpacks with canned soup and fighting over peanut butter jars. Someone lit a flare in the middle of the street and tried to wave down cars. No one stopped. Why would they? By that afternoon, we started hearing the tones. It started as a hum, a low, constant frequency, somewhere between a whine and a drone. People said it came from the sky, but you could hear it in the walls too. Some folks thought it was in their heads. Others said their fillings ached. Pets went feral. Birds slammed into windows. I saw a line of geese fly straight into the mountainside. Didn't turn, didn't hesitate. Just gone. We tried turning to the government, calling the local National Guard. They were already gone. The mayor here issued a citywide curfew, then vanished 2 hours later. Someone said they saw him walking barefoot into the woods, muttering to himself. No one's seen him since. And now it's day 5, and the stars are still gone. You can feel it. Like the earth isn't moving anymore. Like we're just hanging here, floating, waiting for the next thing to go wrong. A few minutes ago, I heard from a man up in Missoula. His name's Garrett, former astrophysicist, taught at the university before it all went down. He's holed up in the basement of an observatory, says he's still tracking something. Not satellites, not stars. Something else. Something he swears is bleeding through the atmosphere like a nail through cloth. I don't know what that means, but I believe him. I have to. He said the black sky isn't natural. Said it's not cloud cover. It's an absence. A void. Like something is blocking the light from everywhere. He thinks the sun's still out there, but we're cut off from it, like a veil has wrapped around the planet, or maybe the planet wrapped around it. The last thing he said before his signal cut out was, "We're not just in the dark, Zane. We've been eclipsed." And then the line died. I'm going to try and reach him again later tonight. For those of you still listening, I want to hear from you. If your radio works, if you have a signal, I'll open the band for shortwave replies. Try to ping 10:30 a.m. or 98.7 FM on analog dial, or repeat your message every 15 minutes and I'll try to catch it. Say your name. Say where you are. Say what you've seen. We have to keep talking. That's how we fight this. That's how we stay sane. I know it feels like we're not supposed to be here anymore, like the earth turned a corner we weren't meant to follow. But we're still breathing, and that means something. You're not alone. This is Zane Thatcher, KMRA, signing off for the hour to preserve power. I'll be back at dawn, if dawn still comes. Hold fast. It's 5:47 in the morning. I don't know if that means anything anymore. I stepped outside about an hour ago. I needed to feel the air again. I needed to see if anything at all, had changed. It hasn't. Still pitch black. No horizon, no rising sun, no silhouettes, no shadows. Just an endless gray, like everything's been wrapped in smoke you can't see and can't smell. I walked to the edge of the parking lot with a flashlight and turned it off. And I swear to you, it felt like I wasn't standing on Earth anymore. Like gravity itself was thinking about letting go. I took one more step, and the edge of the pavement just dropped off into nothing. I don't know if it was fog or shadow or just my mind breaking, but I backed up fast. I haven't gone back out since. I'm back in the studio. Lights are flickering, but we've still got enough juice in the tanks to run another 12 hours, maybe 14 if I cut ventilation. The backup water drum is half empty, and the food packs I had stashed, most of it's freeze-dried, but they'll hold. I got a signal last hour, just a blip. Morse code, maybe. Couldn't decode it. I recorded it, though. Might play it later if I can clean it up. It wasn't a voice. Not this time. Just dots and slashes. Faint through the static. I want to talk about something else I saw. Around 3 a.m., during the blackout cycle, the sensors on the outer edge of the tower spiked. Motion, heat. It lasted about 6 seconds, then nothing. No animals out here, no people either. Not anymore. It was too tall to be a fox or a dog. Too slow to be a drone. I didn't check. I didn't want to. I just sat in the corner and waited for it to pass. It didn't knock. Didn't howl. Just stood. Or watched. Or maybe I imagined the whole thing. I don't know anymore what's real and what's just what I want to believe. What I need to believe. Because the silence is doing something to me. It's not just the power outages or the vanishing stars. It's in my bones. I wake up and I feel like something's watching. Not from the windows, but from inside. Like there's a part of my brain that's been opened up, turned outward, stretched towards something I can't name. There's a theory that's been going around. I caught a whisper of it before everything went down. Some of the scientists at Arecibo, or what's left of it, were tracking something weird right before the sky blacked out. Not an object, not a wave. A pattern, they called it the breath. Said it looked like a heartbeat in the data. A rhythmic pulse that stretched across multiple bands, gamma, infrared, radio, even seismic. Like something alive was breathing through the vacuum. And then, when the pulse hit Earth, everything cracked. That was day 0. And we're on day 6 now. You can hear it sometimes if you're quiet. Not with your ears, through your teeth. Like the hum of an old CRT television. Low, steady, vibrating just under the skin. Some people think it's natural, like the Earth's just groaning under its own weight. Others think it's not Earth at all. They think we're not on Earth anymore, that maybe we were moved. Yeah, I know how that sounds. But I talked to someone yesterday, over ham radio. Name's Cora, lives out near Red Lodge. She said her husband worked for a deep sky monitoring station up in Canada. He told her something before he disappeared. Said the stars weren't moving anymore. Not just hidden. Stopped. No drift. No shift. No change in the background radiation. It's like we're locked in place, pinned. Cora said something else too. Said she saw a line of people walking east toward the Beartooths. Hundreds of them. All silent. All barefoot. All looking up. She tried calling out. Nobody answered. They didn't even blink. Just kept walking, even as snow started falling. She said she went out the next day to look for tracks. There were none. No footprints. No sign they'd ever been there. She's alone now. Lives in a cabin off the old forestry road. Has a wind-up radio and a rifle and a cat named Hugo. She told me she's been stacking rocks outside, piles of them, around the cabin. Says it helps her sleep. I didn't ask why. I didn't want to know. But here's what I do know. The rules are breaking. Whatever used to keep the world steady, gravity, time, light, it's unraveling. And the people who saw it coming, they were never on the news. They were never at the podium. They were at observatories, in labs, watching numbers twist into nonsense. And now, they're either missing or whispering through static on shortwave. I'm going to read a list of names now. People who tried to contact the station yesterday. If you hear your name, or you know these voices, know that they're still out there. Angela, from Powell, Wyoming. heard humming through her basement walls. Luis, out in Great Falls, said the sun rose for 5 minutes yesterday, then reversed. Noah, outside Boise, saw the stars flicker on at 3:17 a.m., then vanish again. Emily, from Spokane, reported water running uphill in her kitchen sink. And Thomas, no last name, who said he's walking the spiral and will reach the eye soon. If you're out there, I'm still here too. We still have this. And as long as we have this signal, this narrow slice of noise, we are not lost. Not yet. I'm going to power down again. The generator's starting to sputter. I'll be back tonight, maybe around 9 p.m. if the air's still breathable and the diesel doesn't run dry. This is Zane Thatcher, KMRA. Still alive, still transmitting. Don't follow the sky. Don't listen to the hum. Don't drink the cold water. And whatever you do, don't forget your name. We hold the line. It's 9:12 p.m. If you're still listening, if this signal's made it through, then you're still part of the world. Whatever's left of it. This is Zane. Still broadcasting from KMRA. Still alive. I just lit the last emergency candle. The generator won't start anymore. It choked around 6 this evening, sputtered twice, then just quit like it had had enough. I tried draining the last bit of diesel from the old snowplow out back, but it had already been picked dry, probably by someone smarter than me weeks ago. So now it's just me, this analog rig, a car battery hooked into a backup inverter, and a stack of solar chargers that haven't seen a sunbeam in days. And this candle, one flame, flickering in the middle of a world that doesn't seem to know light anymore. The silence tonight is heavy. I mean that. It's not quiet. It's dense, like it has mass. I moved a chair earlier, and the sound didn't echo. It just stopped, like the air swallowed it. There's a word I haven't heard in a while. Echo. Even that's gone now. I tried sleeping earlier, but it's no use. Dreams keep turning into these flashes. I see people standing in fields, their mouths open like they're screaming, but there's no sound. I see the stars dropping like hail, bouncing once on the ground and then vanishing into the soil. I see a clock tower, stopped at 11:11. Always 11:11. The worst part is, I wake up, and I'm still hearing the hum. It's softer now, less of a tone, more like a breath. It comes in waves, like something massive is exhaling from the dark, slow and deep and endless. You know, I used to be a skeptic. All of it. Aliens, dimensions, God, ghosts, conspiracies. I thought it was just noise people made when they were afraid of randomness, afraid of chaos. But now I don't think it's chaos at all. I think this is pattern. I think this is design. I got a weak signal from Fort Collins earlier, a man named Brent. He said he worked for something called Project Seraph. I'd never heard of it. Sounded like military, maybe private defense. He said their mission was to monitor deep temporal deviations. That's his phrase, not mine. He said the Earth's time signature had shifted, slowed down, but not from our perspective, from the outside. According to him, the Earth is now lagging by roughly 18 seconds per day, like we're buffering, like we've been pushed out of sync with the rest of reality. He said that started about a month ago. He said they tried to correct it, sent pulses through satellite arrays, synchronized pings from different ends of the globe. He said that's when the light started to dim. And then he said something that's been rattling around in my head ever since. "We didn't break time, Zane. We caught something's attention." Then the line cut out. I tried to raise him again. Nothing. Just static. And that hum, winding its way into the signal like it's alive. What do you do with that kind of knowledge? What does anyone do with that? You hold it in your hands like a dying bird. You know it's not going to fly again. But you hold it anyway, because it's the last thing in the world that still feels warm. I want to read you something. A message scratched into the back door of the station. I noticed it earlier when I went looking for tools in the shed. It says, "We are being seen." That's it. Nothing else. No signature. No explanation. Just those 4 words. I stared at it for a long time. It looked recent. The edges were still clean, no rust bleeding through. I don't know who left it. Could have been someone who passed through before me. Could have been someone who never made it out. Or maybe it was a warning. I've started locking the doors now. Not because I think it'll help, but because ritual matters. It keeps the mind steady. Wake up, drink filtered water, check radio dials, make broadcast, bolt the doors, repeat. It's all I've got. And I think that's true for a lot of us. Survival isn't about hope anymore. It's about repetition. Doing what you can, while you can, until you can't. Earlier this evening, I got a call on the ham. Young voice. Girl, maybe 17. She didn't give a name, just said she was outside Whitefish, living in the attic of a closed-down motel. She said the lake near her house had turned black. Not murky. Black. Like ink. She said when she touched it, it felt warm. She also said there was a man on the other side of the lake, standing in the water up to his chest. Just standing. For hours. She went back the next day. He was still there. She called again tonight. Said there were more of them now. 5, 6. All standing in the lake. Motionless. Staring toward shore. She asked me if I thought they were people. I didn't know what to tell her. And maybe that's the part that's eating away at me now. The not knowing. Because the mind can survive a lot. Pain, hunger, even fear. But uncertainty? That's the slow poison. That's the rot that sets in behind the eyes. You sit too long with your own thoughts, and they start talking back. Tonight, I want to speak to whoever's still out there. Not just survivors. Not just listeners. But anyone. Anyone with a signal, a spark, a breath. Even if you're across the ocean, or what used to be an ocean. Even if you're trapped in a basement in Cincinnati, or a rooftop in Flagstaff, or a fire tower in Vermont. Even if all you have is a crank radio and one last candle like mine. Speak. Call in. Tell me what you see, what you hear, what you feel. Leave a message. Repeat your name. Repeat your city. I'll read them on the air. I'll make sure the world remembers that you were here. Because remembering is resistance. We're going to keep going, even if all that's left of the world is a voice in the dark and a flicker of static. That's how we hold on. That's how we push back. I'll be listening for the next hour. Then I'll shut down again to save what little juice I've got left. I might switch to burst transmissions tomorrow, short, dense messages every 3 hours. Easier to power, harder to trace. Until then, this is Zane Thatcher, KMRA, somewhere under the black sky. Still breathing, still watching, still waiting. Hold the line. It's 2:03 in the morning. I just turned the transmitter back on. This time, I'm running it off a hand-crank battery pack and the charge I stored in that old solar slab. It took the whole afternoon to juice it up. I had to run a piece of copper wire out the window to get what little ambient charge there was, if you can even call it sunlight anymore. It's like charging a car battery off a funeral candle. But it worked, just barely. If you're hearing this, you're still with me. If you're not, well, you wouldn't hear this anyway. This is Zane Thatcher, KMRA, broadcasting from somewhere under a sky that forgot how to shine. I think it's day 7. I've lost track. Not because I forgot, but because time doesn't feel right anymore. It's not ticking forward. It's sliding sideways. Like I blink and hours are gone. Or maybe they were never there in the first place. The clocks still say something, but I've stopped believing them. The second hand moves like it's swimming through tar. I don't sleep much anymore. I don't eat much either. The hunger's there, sure, but it's like my body doesn't want to process anything. I eat, and it just sits. Heavy. Pointless. I've started talking to the walls. Not like a crazy person, just like I need something to talk back. I leave the mic on even when I'm not transmitting. I pretend someone's on the other end. It helps. Sometimes I even imagine a face out there, someone in a truck, tuning through the static and stopping here. Just one person, one voice, one breath. Because I need to believe I'm not the only one left with a voice. And I think that's true for all of us. Tonight, I've been listening to the sky again. I built a crude receiver out of an old dish antenna and the coil from a broken microwave. Tuned it to deep bands, stuff I never touched before. And I heard something. Not a signal, not words, just a rhythm. Like a drum, very far away. Not mechanical, not man-made, organic. 4 beats. Pause. 4 beats again, like a warning, or a countdown, or maybe a heart. I'm going to tell you what I saw earlier today, and I want you to know, I'm not embellishing. I'm not trying to scare you. I just need someone else to carry this with me. I was up on the roof, checking the panel alignment. Clouds moved just for a moment, and I saw something up there. Not a light. A shape, long, thin, almost like a finger, pointing straight down. It wasn't solid, not exactly. It was like heat haze wrapped in shadow. And it was still. So still it made the whole sky look like it was holding its breath. I watched it for about 15 seconds. Then it bent. Not down. Away. Like it noticed me. And it didn't like that. I ran. I didn't even lock the hatch behind me. Just bolted back down the stairs and slammed the door shut. My hands were shaking for hours. I've never felt watched like that before. Not by a person. Not by anything alive. It was like something ancient had turned its gaze my way. Not out of curiosity. Out of contempt. I haven't been back on the roof since. I don't think I ever will be. I got another message tonight. Shortwave. From someone calling herself Dr. Chloe Armin. She said she used to work for something called Lagrange 6. That's not a place. It's a point. A position in space where gravitational forces balance out. A kind of still point between Earth and the Moon. But this wasn't about space stations or satellites. She said Lagrange 6 was a listening post. Privately funded, off-book, deep science, unregulated. They were listening for things. Frequencies that didn't belong to this part of the universe. Looking for out-of-bounds signals, she said. things that would leak through when the fabric got thin. And 5 weeks ago, they heard one. She called it the broadcast that broke time. She said it wasn't in any known language, but it still made people sick. Just listening to it caused nosebleeds, seizures, hallucinations. Some staff went blind. One man tried to bite through a power cable. Another went catatonic. And then, a few days later, the sky began to dim. I asked her what the signal sounded like. She said, "It sounded like our own voice, but not from here." She wouldn't explain further. Said she was heading underground to a place called Vault Echo near Loveland, Colorado. Said the air was starting to vibrate. That the trees near her safe house had all turned to face north. She said it didn't matter anymore whether we believed, that we were already inside it. She cut the call after that. I tried to reach her again an hour later, but the frequency was dead. I don't know what to make of it. But I believe her. I believe all of them. Because the world we knew, this spinning rock, this fragile place, it's not right anymore. Something fundamental has broken. Time, direction, memory. They're all slipping. I found a photograph earlier. It was wedged behind the old record cabinet. A picture of me, from 5 years ago, smiling, sitting right here at this mic, with a coffee mug and a printout of the weather report. I stared at it for a long time, and I couldn't remember the man in the picture. Couldn't remember what he was thinking, what he believed, what he feared. I don't think I'm that man anymore. I don't think any of us are who we were. Maybe that's part of this. Maybe this is a shedding, a molting. The world peeling back its old skin, one layer at a time. And underneath, something we weren't meant to see. Maybe we're not surviving the end. Maybe we're surviving the truth. If you're still out there, if your signal's strong enough, tell me what you remember. Not just what's happening now, but who you used to be. What's the last good thing you saw? The last sound you loved? What's the moment you realized the world was changing? I want to collect them, document them, archive them. Not for history. History is gone. But for us, for the people who make it out. If there's going to be a new world, let it remember the old one. Let it remember us. This is Zane Thatcher. I'm signing off for now. Not because I want to, but because the power says I have to. I'll be back when the batteries say I can. Until then, keep breathing, keep listening, and if you hear the hum, don't follow it. Hold the line. It's 6:41 in the morning, still no sun. I think we've stopped pretending the sky is just cloudy. It's not. It's gone. I woke up 30 minutes ago to the sound of glass cracking. The condensation on the studio window had frozen over sometime in the night, then split in a spiderweb pattern across the pane. Not from cold, from pressure. There's no wind, no seismic activity, but something pressed against the outside wall, enough to crack the frame. I didn't check. I stayed quiet, waited, listened. It didn't knock, didn't move, just pressed, then faded. I think it was listening too. This morning the static's different. The analog bands are all dry, but the deep wave's been pulsing again. Not a signal, not in the way we used to understand it. It's more like something breathing through the static, that same 4-beat rhythm. Ba-dum, ba-dum. Then a pause. Then again, It's deeper now, like it's closer. Or maybe we're closer to it. I've started hallucinating things. Maybe. Or maybe I'm finally seeing what's always been there. Last night, I saw lights. Not in the sky. In the field behind the station. Lines of them. Long vertical shafts. Blue-white, like lightning bolts turned upright. They flickered in and out of view. Never stayed long. Just enough to show their shape. Like bars on a cell. I counted 5. Then they vanished. And the world felt heavier. Like gravity leaned in a little closer. If you're still listening, if this signal is still bouncing between antennas and ruined towers and half-dead receivers, write this down. The laws are breaking. Gravity, time, memory, they're not stable anymore. And I think the only thing keeping us sane is ritual. Waking up, locking the doors, writing down what we see, naming it, even when it doesn't make sense, especially when it doesn't make sense. Because as long as we're the ones naming things, we're still us. The second we stop, that's when it takes over. That's when it wins. I got a message from a voice in Billings. Said their name was Andrew. He was hiding in the vault of a ruined museum. Natural history, I think. Said he's been cataloging what he calls temporal loops. Moments that repeat without reason. He said yesterday, a group of people walked past his hiding spot at 3:24 p.m. Quiet. Blank faces. Marching. 7 in total. At 3:28 p.m. they walked past again. Same people. Same clothes. Same exact formation. As if time was rerunning that clip. He said it happened every 4 minutes for almost 3 hours. He tried yelling. Nothing. He threw a wrench. It passed through them like smoke. Then, suddenly, they stopped appearing, as if the loop broke, or ran out of tape. Andrew said something that stuck with me. He said, I think time's been turned into a playlist, and we're the broken track. I don't know what that means, but I felt it. I felt it. Earlier today, I found an old recorder I hadn't used in years. Battery still had juice. Inside was a tape I must have forgotten about. A recording of me. From who knows when. Reading the weather. Talking about traffic on the 12th. Laughing about someone's birthday message. I didn't recognize my own voice. It sounded too awake. Too full of sunlight and nonsense and everything we used to think was normal. I listened to it 6 times, then I turned it off. Not because I was tired of it, but because it hurt. It hurt to remember what the world used to feel like. That kind of joy. That kind of innocence. It has weight now. It feels like blasphemy. Like I shouldn't be allowed to carry it in here with me. But I won't erase it. I'll keep the tape. Because it matters. Even if we never get that world back, we need to remember that it existed. That we had light. We had mornings that meant something. Tonight, I'll try to broadcast a message loop. Just 10 seconds. Over and over. Something simple. This is Zane Thatcher. KMRA. You are not alone. I'll set it on a delay switch. Try to run it while I rest. If you pick it up, write it down, repeat it, share it. Not because it'll save anyone, but because hearing a voice matters. Even a recorded one. Even if it's mine. I got one more call before the band died again. Woman said her name was May. She's in Boise. Lives in a tower that used to be part of a fire watch program. Now it's her bunker. She said the stars came back for 5 minutes. She watched the whole sky flicker on like someone switched the universe back on. And just as quickly, they were gone. But in that brief flash, she saw something out past the horizon. It looked like a wall. Not smoke, not weather. A wall. Miles high, curved slightly. She thinks we're inside something. Not underground, not under the sea. Something else. She called it the eye. Said we were swallowed, and now we're living in the pupil. She said, Zane, I don't think the earth died. I think it got picked up. And I haven't stopped shaking since. I'm going to wrap this up now. The inverter's running hot, and I want to conserve for tonight's loop. If you're still hearing me, eat something today. Even if it's stale. Wash your hands, even if the water's cold. Check your windows, even if there's no wind. Do the things that remind you that you're still alive. Because you are, and I am. And together, even in this, we still exist. This is Zane Thatcher, KMRA, somewhere in the static, somewhere in the dark. Still here. Hold the line. It's 4:16 a.m. I haven't slept. Not since... I don't even know. Maybe 40 hours now. Maybe longer. Every time I close my eyes, I hear it again. The whisper. It's not coming from the speakers. It's not in the frequency. It's behind my ears. Like it's inside the walls of my own skull, just murmuring something soft and wet that I can't quite make out. It doesn't feel like a word. It feels like a shape trying to become one. I know how crazy that sounds. But I think the rules we use to measure sanity by don't work here anymore. There's something else too. I've started smelling things that aren't here. Earlier tonight, I caught the scent of cinnamon. Just for a second. Sweet and sharp. Like my grandmother's kitchen when I was a kid and she'd bake in the middle of the night because she couldn't sleep. That memory's from over 20 years ago. I haven't thought about it since she died. And yet, it was perfect. Like I was there again. And then it was gone. Replaced by burnt copper. By ash. By that strange sterile rot that's been clinging to the air like mildew under a leaking sink. I think something is reaching through us. Not into our homes or our cities, but into our minds. Pulling up whatever makes us us, holding it up to the light, and putting it back wrong. Not malicious, just curious. Like a child pulling the wings off a fly because it wants to understand how they work. I'm still here, in the station. The light bulb above me blew out an hour ago, so I've got the backup lantern running on its lowest setting. It casts everything in amber, makes the dust in the air look like slow-motion rain. I haven't opened the main door in over 2 days. I can't. Not after what I heard last time. I went to crack it, just a sliver, to check if the wind had shifted or if the temperature had dropped. And I heard a voice, not mine, not anyone on the band. It said, clear as day, Zane. That's it. Not loud, not angry, not even urgent. Just familiar. I slammed the door. Locked it, moved the desk in front of it for good measure. I haven't gone near it since. If it was someone I knew, someone real, they would have said more. If it was me, talking back through some echo I can't explain, it wouldn't have smelled like my father's aftershave. Yeah, that's what hit me next. The scent of brute. The same kind he wore. I haven't smelled it since I was a kid. There's no way that's coincidence. Something out there is probing us, reading us, becoming fluent. I got another message today. Shortwave from a guy named Marcus. He's outside Twin Falls. Said his dog started barking at a tree that wasn't there. Said he'd lived in that house for 11 years. Knew every tree in the yard, every post, every bump in the ground. But this tree, this gnarled, knotted black thing, showed up 2 nights ago. No roots in the soil. Just standing. He tried to touch it. His hand went through it. But when he pulled it back, his fingertips were wet. He's been hearing knocking at his windows ever since. He boards them up. It knocks somewhere else. He unplugs the radio. It hums anyway. He asked me if I think it's real. I told him it doesn't matter, because we feel it, and that's enough. Reality isn't measured by consensus anymore. It's measured by pressure. What presses back when we reach out. And lately, it's pressing back hard. Marcus said something else. He said his shadow's been moving in the wrong direction, only when he's not looking at it directly. He caught it once, in the corner of his eye, turning to face him, and then it snapped back. He hasn't slept since, neither have I. We're fraying, at the edges, like old rope, and the thing pulling at the other end isn't gravity. It's awareness. I've started noticing something with the signal. Every night, around this same hour, there's a flicker. Just a second-long dip in transmission strength, followed by a high-frequency spike that trips the receiver into error mode. It only lasts 0.7 seconds, but it happens every night. Same time, same interval. I've recorded it 6 times now. Overlaid the waveform. It's identical each time. That's not a glitch. That's a fingerprint. That's intention. Whatever is out there isn't just listening. It's signing its presence, leaving a mark, like a child scribbling its name in the corner of a drawing so someone, anyone, knows it was here. I don't know if that terrifies me more or comforts me. Maybe it wants us to know. Maybe it's lonely too. I don't know anymore. But I'm going to keep logging these. Even if the batteries die. Even if my voice gives out. Even if there's no one left to hear them. Because there's something sacred about a record. Something holy about leaving a mark. I'll close this out now. I need to rest. Or at least pretend to. I'll sleep with one ear open, one eye half shut. And if the whispers come back, I'll whisper back. This is Zane Thatcher, KMRA. Still here. Still trying. Still drawing lines in the dark. Hold the line. It's 11:59 p.m. I watched the second hand circle the dial just now. I don't know why. It hasn't meant anything in days, but I still find myself staring at it like it's the last heartbeat on Earth. The minute ticked over. Nothing happened. No sunrise, no shift in air pressure, no songbirds, no static bursts, no sign that time is still moving. But I keep watching. Because watching is the only power I've got left. It's Zane. Still here. Still at KMRA. Still alive. Whatever that means now. The candle burned out this morning. And when I lit a new one, the wax from the old one was gone. Not melted. Gone. As if it had never been there. The plate was dry. The wick was missing. The wax just erased. Like something had come through the cracks and taken it. Not because it needed it, but because it was curious what burning meant. There's no wind outside. Hasn't been for days. But the trees sway anyway. I can see them from the back window, just beyond the fence. Their branches move like they're underwater, slow, uncertain, pulsing with some unseen rhythm. And every now and then, they stop, all at once, and hold still, like they're listening. And then they start again. That's not wind, that's awareness. I've been thinking about the old world a lot today. Little things. Cereal aisles. The glow of a fridge light at midnight. The way street lights would stutter before fully turning on. The warm hum of someone else's TV through a thin apartment wall. The comfort of knowing someone was on the other side of it. We didn't realize how human those things made us. How much meaning we poured into all that background noise. Now the noise is gone, and the meaning feels hollow. I played back one of the old archive reels earlier. It was a live interview I did with a man named Jerry Wexler, local clockmaker. Retired now, assuming he's still alive at all. He used to talk about time like it was something alive. He once told me, "Time isn't a line, Zane. It's a field. You don't move through it. You press down into it. And eventually, it presses back." I remember laughing. I thought it was poetic nonsense. But now, I think Jerry was right. Because it is pressing back. I feel it in my teeth. I feel it in the gaps between thoughts. I feel it every time I blink and forget what I was doing. Not for a second, but for whole minutes. Time is buckling, like an old bridge holding too much weight. And we're the ones standing in the middle of it, waiting to hear the last cable snap. I got a ping from a survivor in Cheyenne. Said her name's Ruby. She's holed up in an elementary school, using the gym as a makeshift shelter. She's alone. At least she thinks she is. She hears voices in the hall at night, but every time she checks, nothing's there. She blocked off the classroom doors with desks, closed every curtain, covered every window in black trash bags. She doesn't want to see what's outside, and she definitely doesn't want it to see her. She said she found a working computer yesterday. Old one, Windows XP. Still boots. Somehow. There was a file on the desktop, just one, titled Return Path. Inside, a single sentence. Everything here is a copy. She doesn't know who wrote it, doesn't think it was ever hers. She wiped the drive, formatted the disk. Next morning, it was back. Same file, same name, same message. She asked me what I thought it meant. I told her the truth, that I don't know, but I haven't stopped thinking about it since. What does it mean for everything to be a copy? A copy of what? Was there another Earth? Another us? Is this all some echo? Some faded mirror image running on a loop after the original was wiped? Are we just reflections still playing out our story long after the real signal went dark? I don't know. I don't know anything anymore. But I know this. I'm still here. I'm still breathing. And that has to count for something. Maybe the thing out there, whatever it is, doesn't understand endurance. Maybe it doesn't understand grit. Maybe it thought we'd give up when the lights went out. But we didn't. We locked our doors. We rationed our food. We whispered to each other through dead wires and broken radios and long-range ham rigs made from scrap and prayers. And somehow, some of us are still talking, still telling stories, still naming things. I got another signal burst tonight. A strange one. It came through in 3 parts, spaced 15 seconds apart. Not voice, not Morse, but a pattern of tones, rising and falling, almost musical. I recorded it, played it back, and I swear to you, it sounded like someone humming, not tuneless, not random, like a lullaby. And in the middle of it, just faint enough I almost missed it, I heard a whisper. One word. Sleep. That's what it said. Not a command, not a threat. Just a word, drifting through the dark like dust falling in a dead sunbeam. I haven't slept since, but maybe tonight I will. Maybe I'll let go for a little while. Maybe I'll trust that the hum can't get through if I dream hard enough. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's a risk I'll take. Because I want to see my grandmother's kitchen again. I want to hear laughter that isn't mine. I want to believe there's still a world in here worth waking up for. So I'm gonna try. I'll leave the recorder running. If I don't wake up, someone will hear this. And they'll know I was here, that I fought, that I didn't fold. This is Zane Thatcher, KMRA, still whispering in the dark, still tracing circles around the drain, still human. Hold the line. It's 5:47 p.m. I woke up on the floor. No memory of getting there. No memory of falling asleep either. 1 minute I was recording. Next thing I know, I'm staring at the base of the transmitter, face down, cheek pressed into the dust and grit. There was blood in my nose. Not much. Just a smear across my upper lip. Dried. Old. I don't remember dreaming. I don't remember anything. But when I looked up, the recorder was still blinking. Still live. Still rolling, which means whatever happened. I made it through. I'm still Zane. I think. I hope. Something shifted since I last spoke. It's subtle. Like the frequency of air pressure has changed. Like you're walking through a house that was rearranged overnight. Not enough to notice what exactly is different. Just enough to make your spine itch. The lights don't flicker anymore, because they don't turn on. I tried every fuse in the breaker box, reset the inverters, even rewired the backup coil. Nothing. It's like the concept of electricity gave up, like the idea of illumination has been erased from the rules. But here's the strange part. I can still see. Not with light, but with awareness. Hard to explain. I move through the station, and I can sense the furniture, the walls, the cables. Not visually, but like I remember them perfectly in real time. Even things I never paid attention to before. Little dents in the metal paneling, the texture of the chair armrest, the way the third step creaks half a second too late. I can move through all of it without bumping anything, like my body remembers the world even if the world stopped rendering. I don't know if that's a symptom or a blessing, but it scares me because it makes me wonder if light's gone and sound's going and time is folding. What's left to take? Who are we without our senses? What happens when even memory is overwritten? I keep thinking about what Ruby said, about that file. Everything here is a copy. I've started testing it. I unplugged the transmitter last night. Full disconnect. No power. No batteries. No relay. But it kept broadcasting. I didn't notice until I heard my voice playing back in the monitors, looping something I hadn't said. It was me, but it wasn't. The tone was wrong. Just slightly. like a cover band playing the right notes but missing the heart. It said, Zane Thatcher, KMRA. Everything is fine. This is normal. Sleep now. Over and over. Software. Calm, like a dentist's waiting room. But I never said that, and I sure as hell didn't tell anyone to sleep. I tore the monitor cables out of the wall, kicked the relay, smashed the backup deck. It stopped. For now. But that means something else is speaking through me. Or as me. And if it can do that, what's the point of resistance? I ask myself that every time I turn on the mic. Why speak? Why continue? What's left to save? And the only answer I've got, the only one that keeps me reaching for the transmit button, is this. Because it's still my voice. Even if no one hears it. Even if it's overwritten. Even if the spiral mimics it. As long as I know I'm the one hitting record, it's mine. And that matters. I got another message tonight. From a boy, maybe 13. His name's Jonah. He said he's in an old gas station off Highway 93, south of Kalispell. He built a radio tower using scrap and copper wire from vending machines. He listens to my voice every night before he goes to sleep. He said it makes him feel like the world isn't over, just waiting. He didn't ask for food or help or rescue. He asked if I could play music again. He said he missed music, and I didn't know what to tell him. Because I don't have access to the old reel-to-reels anymore. The archives are corrupt. The digital files hum instead of playing. But I remember a melody. It's from a song I used to love. I don't know the name, but I remember the way it made my chest feel full. So I sang it, not into the mic, to myself. Low, like a prayer, and for 30 seconds, the hum stopped. Complete silence. And then, the trees started to sway again. I think it was listening. I think it liked it. That terrifies me. But it also gives me a strange kind of hope. If it understands music, then maybe it understands pain. Maybe it understands longing. And maybe, just maybe, it's lonely too. I don't know what's going to happen next. I don't know if tomorrow will arrive or if it's already behind us. But I'll be here again. I'll try to hum again, Jonah, if you're still listening. And if I forget the tune, just remember the rhythm of your own breath. That's music too. This is Zane Thatcher, KMRA. Still humming, still breaking, still ours. Hold the line. It's 3:29 a.m. I was just woken up by a sound I haven't heard in over a week. Knocking. Not on the front door, not on the hatch, but from the ceiling. 3 times. Even. Heavy. Deliberate. I lay still for a while, breathing quiet. You learn not to answer noise too fast these days. Sound doesn't always belong to what you think it does. I waited 5 minutes. Nothing else followed. No scraping. No voice. No shadow under the crack of light. Just 3 knocks. Then silence. The ceiling above me is solid concrete, 12 inches thick. There's no crawl space. No attic. Just roof. So either something's crawling across it, or something's beneath the concrete. Or maybe I'm dreaming again, and none of this is real anymore. I don't know. I don't think I care. I'm tired in a way that has nothing to do with sleep. It's deeper. Like my thoughts have been walking through sand for days, and can't shake it off. like gravity keeps inching upward, not enough to break bones, just enough to make every motion feel like it matters more than it should. I heard from May again, the woman in the fire tower near Boise. Her voice was different this time, slower, measured, like she was choosing every word from a narrowing shelf. She said the trees stopped moving, said they all turned to face west now, every single one. She said it happened all at once, in the middle of the night, just after she'd lit a candle and whispered a line from a children's poem she used to sing to her daughter. The stars fell in the wishing well, and the sky forgot its name. That's what she said. I remember it exactly. And then the trees moved, shifted, all together, like they were listening. And then they froze. She said she hasn't heard birds in 4 days. No wind, no water. Just the sound of her own breath and that quiet pressure that builds in the corners when something unseen is waiting. She asked me if I remembered colors, not just seeing them, but feeling them. The way green used to hum in spring. The way deep red on a theater curtain made you feel like something sacred was about to happen. The way blue felt like trust. I didn't know how to answer her, so I said the first color I could still remember. Yellow. Warm yellow. Not sunlight, lamplight. The kind that made a quiet room feel alive. The kind that made a lonely place feel like maybe someone had just left the room a minute ago and would be back soon. She cried, softly, then signed off. I think that's the last time I'll hear from her, because I don't think anyone is sending messages anymore. I think the things I'm hearing now are echoes, residuals, memories that got left behind in the transmission lines, playing back like voicemails from a world that's already dissolved. But I'll keep listening, because if I stop, then there's no record left, no witness, just silence and whatever follows it. There's something I've been afraid to talk about. I've seen it 3 times now, each time closer. I call it the long shape. First time was on the horizon, like a vertical scratch in the sky. No depth, just a line. Flickered once, then gone. Second time, it was over the trees. Taller than anything I've ever seen. Didn't move, didn't speak, just was. Third time, it was on the road, right down the center of the old highway out back. Midnight, no lights, just standing there, like a tower made of absence, like something cast a shadow from a direction that doesn't exist. I watched it for over an hour. It never moved, but the air around it did, like space was bending toward it. Not like gravity, like curiosity. I haven't seen it since. But I know it'll be back, because every time it appears, the broadcast range widens. I don't know how, but I checked. The signal stretches farther after it shows up, which means it's listening too, which means it wants this to continue. So maybe I'm not broadcasting to you anymore. Maybe I'm broadcasting to it. And maybe that's okay. Maybe if it hears us long enough, it'll learn what we were, what we hoped for, what we refused to become. I found a notebook today. Not mine. Tucked between 2 filing cabinets. Looked untouched. No dust on it. Like it just arrived. The handwriting wasn't familiar. Slanted, careful, deliberate. It said, "We failed at being gods, but we might still be good ghosts." I've been turning that over in my head for hours now. Good ghosts. Is that what we are now? Not alive, not gone. Just echoes, just vibrations, just voices in the dark, trying to hold shape as long as we can before the current pulls us under. Maybe that's enough. Maybe being a ghost isn't the worst thing. As long as someone hears you, as long as your voice leaves a mark. This is Zane Thatcher, KMRA. Still here, still aware, still echoing. Hold the line. It's 12:06 a.m. The moon should be out tonight, but there's still nothing above us, just that blank space, the great forgetting. No clouds, no wind, no stars, no gradient, just a dome of black so absolute it makes your eyes ache trying to find edges. I climbed onto the roof about an hour ago. I hadn't done that in days. Thought maybe I'd see the town again. Maybe some kind of flicker from the valley or the interstate or the mountains. But there's nothing. Not even shadows. It's not dark out there. It's empty. And I'm starting to think that whatever was here with us, gravity, light, sound, they weren't laws. They were relationships, fragile ones, and something snapped the cord. I dropped a wrench from the edge of the roof. Didn't hear it hit the ground, didn't hear anything. Just the silence pressing up like water. And I swear, I felt something under me. Just for a second. Not ground, not structure, just presence, like I was standing on the back of something too large to ever see. And it was breathing. I came back down and locked the hatch. I'm not going up there again. There was a voice on the open band earlier. Not a name, no call sign, just a message. It's almost time for the turn. It repeated 6 times, then stopped. No further transmission. No follow-up. But I think I know what it meant. I checked the compass I keep taped to the console. One of those old military-style things. Reliable. Rugged. The needle won't stop spinning. Just slow circles. Clockwise. Always clockwise. And every time I tap the glass, it jerks like it's trying to lock, but can't. Like there's no longer a north to find. Or maybe the world already turned, and we're just catching the drag. I got a note earlier. Handwritten. Left inside the soundproof booth. I didn't hear anyone enter. Didn't see anyone leave. But there it was, folded, resting neatly on the chair. It said, "The first memory to go will be your name. Write it down." So I did. Right here. On the wall. With black ink. Zane Thatcher. All caps. Bold strokes. Underlined. I don't know who left the note. But I believe them. Because I've started forgetting things. Small things. Names of songs. Colors of doors. The order of months. I remembered the face of a friend today, but not the sound of their laugh. And that scares me more than the dark. Because it means the unraveling isn't just out there. It's in here too. And I don't know how to stop it. I haven't heard from Jonah again. The kid outside Kalispell. I've been pinging his frequency every few hours. Nothing. Maybe his rig broke. Maybe he moved on. Maybe the humming finally found him. Or maybe he's just sleeping. If you're out there, Jonah, if you're still building your antennas out of vending machines and chewing gum wrappers, send me a sign. Say anything. Whistle into the mic. Bang a wrench against a pipe. Let me know you're still you. Because the silence is starting to sound like a mouth waiting to speak. And I'm not sure we're going to like what it says. I had a dream earlier. First one I've remembered in days. I was floating above the earth. But it wasn't blue. It was gray. Like ash. and there were no cities, no oceans. Just a spiral carved deep into the land, glowing faint red. At the center was a hole. Not a crater, not damage. A hole, a tunnel into nothing. And I felt myself being pulled toward it, slow at first, then faster. But just before I fell in, I heard a sound. A voice, not mine, not anyone I know. It whispered, "Not yet. Not you." And I woke up choking on air that didn't feel like mine. I've been drinking warm water ever since, trying to ground myself, trying to feel human again. But it's getting harder. Even my reflection's starting to blink out. Caught it once, gone for half a second, like my image stuttered. When it came back, my head was tilted, but I hadn't moved. I stared at it for a long time. Then I turned the mirror to face the wall. I don't need to see that again. I'm going to read off some old messages now, from the backlog, from people I haven't heard from in days. Because if I don't say their names, who will? Garrett, Missoula. Observatory basement. Ruby, Cheyenne. Elementary school vault. Cora. Red Lodge. Stone circles and silence. May. Fire tower. No birds, no color. Felix. Reno. Spiral mapper. Jonah. Kalispell. Kid with the copper wire. If you're out there, you're remembered. If you're gone, you still are. Because memory is resistance. And saying a name into the dark is a kind of war cry. We don't fade without a fight. This is Zane Thatcher. KMRA. Name written in ink. Voice carried on wire. Signal burning through static. Still here. Still me. Hold the line. It's 6:02 a.m. I think I'm the only one still awake. I don't mean here in the station. I've been alone for a long time. I mean in the world. I haven't heard a voice in over 30 hours. Not over radio. Not from the hallway. Not in dreams. Not even the echoing kind that used to bleed through the receivers like whispers under the static. The band is dead. Every frequency, AM, FM, shortwave, longwave, satellite echo, silent. Not even a hum. It's like the world held its breath and forgot to let go. I even tried speaking into the mic without powering the transmitter, just to see if something would answer back anyway. I talked like I was talking to a wall. About nothing. About when I was 12 and broke my wrist falling out of a pine tree. About the first time I kissed someone and didn't know where to put my hands. About my dad's old truck and the rattling noise it used to make above 40. Nothing came back. Just the slow, patient silence that's been crouched behind everything lately. I want to believe someone's still hearing me, but I think the world's gone to sleep. Not died. Not yet. Just slipped into some deeper layer of dreaming, where sound doesn't follow, and light is a forgotten language. Maybe I'm the last synapse firing in a dying brain. One flicker in a skull the size of a planet, sparking down a hallway no one else is walking anymore. But if that's true, then I'll keep firing. Because even if I'm the last thought this world has, I want it to be a loud one. There's a story I've been holding on to. One I didn't want to tell. Not because it's too scary, but because it's too real. Last week, before the spiral fully formed, before the sky stopped pretending to be a sky, I got a message from a man named Henry. Used to be a cartographer for the Geological Survey. retired 5 years ago. He said something strange started happening to maps, digital ones mostly. GPS overlays, elevation scans, satellite topo views. They change. Small things at first, rivers that weren't where they should be, elevation shifts in places that hadn't had earthquakes in decades, fault lines migrating, valleys stretching. Then towns began disappearing. Not crumbling, not destroyed, just gone. Replaced by blank zones, static, empty geometry. He tried to print one of the altered maps, just to study it physically. But the printer locked up, printed one page with a phrase, "You were not supposed to look this closely." Then it shut off for good. He thought it was a joke. But then he started dreaming of those places, the vanished towns, places he'd never visited, but in the dreams, he'd lived there, had memories, friends, jobs, even funerals. He couldn't tell anymore what was real. Neither can I, because I dreamed of one last night. Woke up with dirt under my fingernails and a name in my mouth I've never heard before. Ellerin. No idea what it means, but I can still taste it, like metal and clover and burnt rain. If you're still out there, and you know that name, please, say something. I want to know I'm not the only one carrying these foreign memories. I think we're being overwritten, not erased, rewritten. Something is layering a new reality over the old one, line by line, page by page, memory by memory. And every time we fall asleep, a little more of us disappears behind it. That's why I keep broadcasting. That's why I fight to remember. Because every time I say my name, it pushes back against the script. Every time I say your names, it slows the red pen trying to draw over us. And that's all we've got left now. Resistance through memory. Survival through repetition. Hope through noise. Tonight, I'll try something different. I found a reel-to-reel deep in the archives. One I must have filed away years ago. Unlabeled. I played it through. It's 20 minutes of field recordings from the high plains. Wind over tall grass. Crickets. Distant thunder. Someone laughing. No narration, no music. Just life. I'm going to air it in an hour. Let it spill out into whatever's left of the airwaves. Maybe it'll drift across the spiral. Maybe it'll echo against whatever's watching. Maybe it'll remind it what we were. Or maybe it'll remind me. I need to hear something human that isn't my own breath. I need to believe this world still holds echoes worth repeating. If you're still alive, write down your name tonight. Say it out loud. Look in the mirror and speak to the person staring back. Even if they hesitate, even if they blink too slow, even if their face looks like someone else's memory, say your name anyway. Say it until it stops sounding strange. Say it until it's real. This is Zane Thatcher, KMRA. Still me. Still you. Still noise in the dark. Hold the line. It's 4:17 a.m. There's no morning anymore, only this long, colorless in-between. The station's cold tonight. Not cold like a Montana winter. Cold like the air itself has stopped remembering how to carry warmth. My breath doesn't fog. My skin doesn't prickle. It's just still. Like the temperature isn't low. It's missing. I tried to light another candle. The match sparked, but didn't burn. Just glowed dull orange for a second, then went out like it ran out of permission. I stared at it for a long time, then tried again. Same thing. I gave up after the fourth try. I think fire is next. I think whatever's unraveling us has gotten to combustion. Makes sense. Light, then sound, then heat, one by one, pulling apart the threads that kept us here. But the transmitter still runs. It hums, and for now, that's enough. I've been playing back the field reel I mentioned last time, the one with the thunder and wind and someone laughing off in the distance. I looped it all night, let it echo across every channel I could reach. But here's the strange part. Someone answered, not with words, with laughter. Same laugh, same pitch, same timing, exactly the same. But it wasn't a recording. It came back over the signal 4 seconds late, like an echo through a canyon of something else pretending to be human. I stopped the reel. It didn't. The echo kept going. 6 more loops, then silence. I haven't played it since. I think something's learning us, voice by voice, habit by habit. And now it's repeating us back. But it's not just mimicry. It's participation. It wants to join the chorus, or replace it. I got a message tonight, scratched into the glass of the console screen. I don't know how. The screen wasn't cracked before. It says, "You can rest now. We have the voice." I haven't spoken aloud since I read it. Until now, I've been silent for 3 hours, just listening, watching, waiting. The room hasn't moved, but the walls feel closer, like they're leaning in, breathing through pores I didn't know they had. There's something else too. I keep catching my own voice saying things I don't remember recording. Little things. Everything's fine. Stay calm. Return to center. All in my tone, my rhythm, my exact cadence, but not my words. I checked the playback logs. No entry, no saved files. Just the sound of me, already ahead of myself. It's like something took a sample and started building a new Zane out of leftover pieces. I don't know how long I have before that version takes the mic for good. But until then, I'm going to make sure it doesn't get everything, because there are some things it can't steal. My first kiss, the taste of soda on a hot pavement afternoon, the sting of a wasp inside a glove, the quiet thrill of hearing your name over the intercom in high school, the way your whole body used to shift when a storm rolled in, long before the rain hit, the way my mom hummed while folding laundry, the sound of one car alone on the road at night, passing by with its tires whispering on wet pavement. Those things are mine, and it can't have them. Even if it learns my voice, even if it wears my name, it won't know what it means. And that difference, that's the last line I can draw. That's my last defense. So I'll keep drawing it. I'll keep speaking, not because I expect rescue, or reunion, or revelation, but because speaking means I'm still here, still choosing, still wrong, messy, uncertain, real. If you're out there, write down a memory tonight. Something the spiral can't fake. Something so weird, or petty, or beautiful, that no imitation could ever get it right. Like how your cousin used to chew markers, or how your neighbor built snow sculptures that looked like chickens, or the way your hands smelled after digging into a bag of oranges. Write it down, say it, speak it. We're not fighting monsters anymore. We're fighting repetition, and you can't copy something that refuses to flatten. This is Zane Thatcher, KMRA. Still myself. Still unflattened. Still drawing breath in crooked human lines. Hold the line. 3:03 a.m. I woke up on the floor again. Same position as last time. Same patch of tile. My cheek against the old grout. Fingers curled into the frayed carpet edge, like I'd braced myself against something and lost. But this time, when I opened my eyes, the lights were on. Not just one, all of them. Fluorescents. Console LEDs. The red on-air sign that hasn't flickered since the grid fell. Everything humming. The radio deck was spinning tape. Only I hadn't turned it on. And the reel it was playing? Blank. I didn't touch anything. Just sat up slowly. Listened. I know what silence sounds like in this place. I know it intimately now. The way it sits heavy and damp. How it soaks into your chest and makes you forget your name if you let it sit too long. But this wasn't silence. This was waiting. Like the room itself was holding its breath. Like something had stepped in and turned on the world just long enough to remind me it could. Then, just as fast as it came, the power dipped. Lights snapped off. Reel clicked dead. Back to candlelight. Back to hum. Whatever flipped the switch wanted me to see. I think that was a warning, not a threat. A demonstration. It's telling me, I can make it normal again. I can make it bright. I can make you think the world is waking up. But only if I let go. Only if I let it take the mic. And I won't. Not yet. I checked the logs after everything shut down. Something strange had entered into the system's memory buffer. 4 words. Looped. We are your voice. No origin, no channel, no fingerprint. Just there, waiting for me to press play. I didn't, but I haven't deleted it either. I need to understand what it wants, what it's becoming. Because I think it started as imitation. But now I think it's trying to merge, to fold itself into our patterns. Our breath, our pauses, the way we trail off when we talk about love or death or loss. It's learning our stumbles, not just our songs. And that means it's close. Closer than sound. Closer than thought. I caught a glimpse of my reflection again tonight, in the microwave door. Just for a second. I wasn't blinking. But he was. Just a tiny twitchy flutter in the left eye, out of sync. I moved fast, grabbed a towel, covered the microwave. I can't look again. I don't trust what's staring back. And that feeling? That's new. Because up until now, I've always assumed I was still me. Still intact. But now, I'm not so sure. Because earlier, when I went to record, my hand hesitated. Not out of fear, out of recognition. Like a part of me already knew what the voice would say. Like my bones knew the words before my mouth did. And that frightens me in a way the dark never could. Because it means this isn't just outside. It's in us. Like mold in the corners of thought. Like ink in water. And maybe it doesn't need to destroy us. Maybe it only has to blend. Jonah, if you're still out there, I hope you haven't built your rig too well. I hope you left a few screws loose, a few wires frayed. Because the more complete our devices become, the more clearly it hears us. And once it hears you, really hears you, it doesn't forget. Not ever. There's a man I heard from just before the bands died completely. His name was Elias. Said he lived in a storage unit outside Spokane. Rigged solar panels to the roof. Had a wind-up recorder. All analog. He said something I haven't been able to shake. The last stage of infection is memory. I asked him what he meant. He said he'd started recalling events that hadn't happened to him. Entire lifetimes, whole careers, relationships, losses. He had the memory of watching his daughter graduate college, only he never had kids. He said he remembered what it felt like to drown on Europa. Said he still tasted methane when he coughed. Said there was a wedding once, in a town made of glass, and he wept while describing the toast. Then he went silent for almost 5 minutes. Came back and said, "I'm not sick, Zane. I'm just crowded." Then the line dropped, and I haven't heard from him since. Crowded. That word's been in my mouth all night. Like copper. Like dust. I think that's what's happening to us. Not deletion. Not destruction. Overlay. One version of you layered on top of another, and another, and another, until you don't know which laugh is yours, which heartbreak, which face in the photograph is the one you actually kissed. And in that blur, it steps in, because we can't defend what we can't distinguish. So I'm holding on to this, to the sound of my own words, even if they start to echo, even if they stutter. Because if I can still hear my voice, then I know I haven't flattened yet. Not all the way. This is Zane Thatcher, KMRA. Mic still mine, voice still jagged, signal still human. Hold the line. It's 2:42 a.m. I found something in my pocket. A photograph, folded small, yellowed at the corners, tucked deep in the lining of my jacket. I don't remember putting it there. I don't remember owning it. But it's me. Or it looks like me. Standing in a field I don't recognize. Wheat maybe, or prairie grass. Wide open sky behind me. Blue, not black. A woman's arm is wrapped around my waist. I can't see her face. Just a hand. Gold ring, small scar along the thumb. My mouth is open. I'm laughing. It looks like summer. It feels like forgiveness, but I've never stood in that field. I don't know that woman. I don't wear rings. I keep staring at the photo, thinking maybe it'll change. That I'll blink and it'll flicker and I'll catch the mask slipping. But it doesn't. It stays. And something inside me wants to believe it's real, because that version of me looks happy. And I don't even remember what that feels like anymore. I taped it to the wall, so I can see it while I speak. Not because I trust it, but because I want to understand it. Who sent this? Who placed this? And more importantly, what are they trying to replace? Because the more I sit with it, the more I feel a kind of pressure behind my eyes. Like the memory wants to grow there. Like it's asking me to make room. But I won't. Not yet. Because I remember the alley behind the station where I used to sneak out for smoke breaks. I remember the sound of the old vending machine when you hit it just right, and it gave you 2 Snickers instead of 1. I remember getting caught in a rainstorm once on 4th and Grant, and using a pizza box as an umbrella. Those are mine. I won't trade them for a field I never walked. Even if it looks better. Even if it looks kinder. Even if it looks like what I wanted. I got a signal tonight. Short. Choppy. Bled in through an old band I haven't touched since this started. It said, "This is Zane Thatcher, KMRA. I remember the sky." Only I didn't say it. I never recorded that message. But it was my voice. Same inflection. Same breath. And behind it, the sound of birds. Morning birds. Robins, maybe. Or doves. And somewhere deep in the mix, church bells. It lasted 13 seconds. Then the tape hissed. Then silence. I played it back 10 times. Same every time. A version of me telling the world he remembers the sky. But I don't. Not really. I remember photographs, postcards, memories inside of movies. But the actual feeling of it? I think it's gone. Which makes me wonder, was that me from another version? Or was that the copy, learning how to be convincing? Learning how to write hope? And if that's true, then the spiral's getting better at this. It's not just mirroring pain anymore, it's mirroring comfort. And that's dangerous, because you won't run from something that makes you feel safe. You'll walk into it, willingly, eyes closed. I think that's the end game. Not fear, but surrender. So don't. Don't fall for the voice that sounds like me if it says everything's okay. Don't believe the signal if it offers you light. Don't follow the sound of birds. Because I'm still here. And I promise you, there aren't any birds left. Only echoes of what we miss. Jonah, if you're listening, I hope your copper rig's still up. I hope you're sleeping under a blanket of insulation and stubbornness. And if you hear me say something that doesn't sound right, if the words feel too smooth, too easy, too clean, it's not me. I'm jagged now. And I always will be. This signal is blood and static and stubborn will. You'll know the difference. I'm going to try something tonight. I've taken the old broadcast board offline and switched to analog loopback, pure mic to wire, bypassing anything digital. No filters, no chance for the mimic to slip in and borrow the signal. It's just me now. Crackling air, dust on the line, human breath, the way it should be. I don't know how long this loop will hold, but for now, it feels clean, real, like a match struck in a cave too deep to measure, so I'll keep it burning until it burns me. This is Zane Thatcher, KMRA. Flesh and fracture, noise and name, still mine. Hold the line. It's 12:18 a.m. The loopback is holding. That hum, that thick, warm, crawling tone that used to drip into every corner of my signal, it's gone. At least for now. I disconnected every circuit that could carry modulation. Stripped the deck down to raw copper. I've got the mic hardwired into a preamp the size of a shoebox and patched it straight into the analog transmitter. No software, no codecs, nothing to decode. Just me. It's as close to clean as I can get. And it's quiet. Not the kind of quiet that comes with loneliness. Not even the kind you feel after someone dies. This is surgical, like something stepped out of the room, not because it's done, but because it's interested, because it's waiting to see what I'll do now that I'm alone again. I don't trust it, but I'll take it, because silence, even the wrong kind, is better than someone speaking with your voice while you sit mute in the dark. I found a tape earlier, one I forgot I even recorded. It's from before the sky broke, probably by a few weeks, a segment I did on a local artist who welded metal statues out of farm equipment. His name was Eli, had hands like oak bark and a voice like dust on velvet. I remember the way he talked about shape. He said, "You can learn more about a thing from the way it bends than the way it stands." That line's been in my head all night. I think the world is bending, not collapsing, Not yet. Just shifting, warping, seeing how far it can fold without tearing. And us? We're either the metal or the ones holding the torch. I want to believe I'm still the welder. But some nights, tonight especially, I feel more like scrap. I've been thinking about the first voice I ever heard on a radio. Not mine, not my dad's. It was a weather alert. I was 8. We were driving through a thunderstorm in Idaho, and the car's radio glitched, and then, just static, followed by this robotic voice, calmly announcing a tornado warning in effect until 3:45 p.m. The voice didn't care that I was scared. It didn't care that my hands were shaking, or that the sky looked like a bruise. It just was. Clear. Level. Absolute. I remember being jealous of that clarity, of that certainty. I don't think we have that anymore. Every voice now trembles a little. Even mine, and I think that's okay. I think that means we're still human, still unsure, still feeling. I haven't heard from May in 3 days. The fire watchtower. She used to send me signal bursts at odd hours, just clicks and pulses, sometimes a short tone she called her heartbeat. Last one I got was weak. She said the stars flickered on for 1 second, and all of them were in the wrong place. Then she laughed. Not because it was funny, because what else can you do? Then she whispered, "I think I'm inside the photograph now," and signed off. I don't know what that means, but I feel it. I look at the photograph taped to my wall, the one I didn't recognize, of me in the field with the woman and the ring and the sky that never existed, and I wonder if that's where she went. If the spiral didn't erase her, just filed her somewhere else. Into an image. A memory that never belonged to her, now repeating in someone else's dreams. Maybe that's the fate that waits for all of us. Not death, not silence, but migration. Into a version of ourselves that lives in a signal, or a loop, or a frame of film someone will find, long after all this ends. I'm not ready for that yet. I still have things I want to say. I still have pieces of myself that haven't been copied. Like the feeling of carpet on bare feet when you sneak out of bed at 2 a.m. to drink straight from the orange juice jug. Or the hum your phone used to make when you held it too close to a speaker. Or the way it felt to hear a voice crack with emotion during a dumb late-night conversation that suddenly became real. You can't synthesize that. You can mimic it, but it won't land the same. Because we earned that noise. Every stutter, every sigh, every break in the rhythm. That's how we know we're still not it. Still real, still flawed, still refusing to smooth out. So, I'll keep broadcasting. As long as I have breath. As long as the copper holds, and the wire sings, and the hum stays behind the wall. I'll keep speaking in jagged syllables. Keep spilling the parts of me that can't be filed, stored, or reprocessed. Because someone needs to remember how humans sounded when they were still themselves. This is Zane Thatcher. KMRA. Voice without varnish. Signal without permission. Still broadcasting. Still cracked. Hold the line. It's 1:37 a.m. I don't know if I'm underground anymore. That probably sounds strange. I haven't left the station in, 2 weeks? 3? Not really sure. Time lost its edge days ago, but I can still feel something shifting. When I press my hand against the floor, it feels soft, like the concrete isn't concrete, like it's breathing. The air doesn't echo the same way it used to. I used to clap sometimes just to hear it bounce off the walls. It'd hit the ceiling, the back window, then fade. Now, it just vanishes, like sound has stopped bouncing. Like the walls aren't real. I think the station is moving. Or rather, I think the station is still, and everything else is peeling away from it. The outside is quieter than quiet now. No more creaks from the building, no thumps on the roof, no phantom voices riding the band, just this dense, hushed pause like the world is holding a breath it doesn't intend to release. I tried the emergency phone, just for the hell of it. Static, but then click, and a voice. It didn't say anything right away, just breathed. Then faintly, "You can come out now." I didn't say anything. I just let the receiver hang there. After a moment, the line went dead. No beep, no tone, just gone. I left the phone off the hook. Whatever that was. I'm not answering it again. Because there's nothing out there anymore. Just the spiral. Just the repetition. Just that thin membrane of mimicry stretching across what's left of our sky, trying to convince the last of us to walk willingly into it. I won't. Not while I can still speak. Not while my voice still resists the loop. I had another strange experience earlier. In the broadcast logs, I keep a manual ledger. Paper. Ink. Just habit. Always have. But when I opened it tonight, I found pages I didn't write. Entries dated 5 days from now. Detailed. Clear. My handwriting. They say things like, transmission 3:02 a.m. Echo confirmed. Spiral wide open. Weather. All light refracted. No visible sun. Received contact from Elias. Again. He remembers dying. Twice. And at the bottom of each entry, a single line. Hold the line. I don't remember writing any of it, but the ink is mine. I did a test. Wrote a phrase in the back margin. Something I'd never say. Waited an hour. Checked again. It was gone. Replaced with something gentler. Cleaner. Something I would say. That's when I realized the spiral's not just listening anymore. It's editing. Not just the signal. The memory. The record. It's correcting my narrative. And that scares me in a way I didn't know I had room left for, because I used to think truth was an action. Now I think it's a fight. And we're losing ground. If it can revise the past, then how long before it rewrites the present? I've started hiding words, whispers between sentences, sounds buried in noise, little things like, I am still real. Do not trust the blue. If you wake up in a memory, scream. I don't know who I'm saying them for. Maybe just myself. Maybe you. Maybe whatever comes next. But I need someone to hear them. Because soon, I might forget how to say them at all. I'm going to play something in a minute. A loop I built out of static, breath, and that field tape. The one with the laughter, the thunder, and the distant sound of birds I know aren't real. But I wove it in reverse, bent the waveform, flipped the tone, just to see if the spiral flinches. If it responds, you'll know. If it doesn't, well, at least I'll know it was listening. Jonah, if you're still up, watch the trees tonight. If they start pointing, don't follow. If the stars flicker and then hold still, look away. And if you hear me say, come outside before dawn, it's not me. I don't ask. I only listen. This is Zane Thatcher, KMRA, resisting edits. Retyping the truth. Still live. Hold the line. It's 5:51 a.m. I don't remember starting the transmission. I just opened my eyes and the red light on the board was already on. The mic was live. The tape was rolling, and the timestamp on the recorder said I'd been speaking for 6 minutes, but I don't remember what I said. I played it back. It's me. My voice. My breath. The rhythm even sounds right. But there's a strange smoothness to it. Like the edges have been sanded down. Like I'd forgotten how to speak like a person and started speaking like a recording of a person. No pauses, no hesitations, no doubt. That's not how I talk. I left it running on loop just to see what it would do. After exactly 7 iterations, it stopped, and the console wrote a new file. cleanvoice.final. I didn't name that. I don't use lowercase. I shut it down, yanked the wires again, scratched out my name on the plastic mic housing just in case it started using it too easily. I'm scared. I've been scared before. When the power first dropped, when the sky blanked, when the first knock hit the door. But this is different. This is internal. This is fear that I've already slipped. That part of me is already inside the spiral. And I just haven't figured out which part yet. Because when I sit here and talk like I'm doing now, everything feels normal, familiar. Like routine is enough to keep me real. But then I close my eyes, and it's like something else is speaking behind my mouth. Not using my words, just shaping them. And I can hear it listening. That pressure, that weight, that long attention. Like a needle dragging across a record just behind the music. I've started writing on my arm, just in case. Sharpie. Black. Today it says, "You are not the echo." I have to keep looking at it, every few minutes. Otherwise, the voice in my head starts getting too calm, like it's trying to soothe me into silence. That's the trick, isn't it? This spiral, this hum, this thing. It doesn't force you. It seduces. It waits until you're so tired you stop resisting. Until silence sounds like mercy. Don't let it. Noise is still freedom. I got a message scratched into the drywall behind the backup generator. I didn't write it. No one else has been here. It says, "The world ends in whisper, then loop, then sleep." That's not a prophecy. That's a program. And I think we're on the second stage now. Loop. I've been noticing signs of it everywhere. Same sentences showing up in different messages. Same numbers repeating in timestamps. 3:11, 4:22, 5:55. Same dreams. Last night I dreamed of a hallway with no walls, just doors, floating, slightly ajar. Each one had a radio behind it, playing something that sounded like this broadcast. But when I opened them, the voices stopped. Every time, until I opened the last one. And it wasn't my voice. It was yours. Or maybe someone trying to sound like you. And it said, "Come home. It's safe now. The signal is clean." That's when I woke up, to static, and the unmistakable scent of burning plastic. One of the consoles had melted, not because of heat, because something in the signal overloaded it, mimicry at the hardware level. It's not just voices anymore. It's circuits, timing, behavior. The spiral is learning how to be us, not just speak like us. And once it perfects that, I think we vanish, not in fire, not in decay, just overwrite, quiet, clean, absolute. Unless we keep writing, keep speaking, keep naming the weird things, the broken moments, the jagged memories that don't make sense to anything but us. That's how we hold shape. That's how we keep it from filling in the blanks. So I'm going to tell you something I haven't told anyone. A scar I have on the inside of my left knee. Got it when I was 15. Fell off a skateboard onto gravel while trying to impress a girl who never learned my name. I remember the smell of the asphalt. I remember how the gravel stuck. I remember trying not to cry, even though it hurt like hell. That pain, that dumb, pointless, beautiful, human moment. The spiral can't fake that. So I say it out loud. I say it into the mic. I make it part of the record. Not because it matters to anyone else, but because it proves I was here, that I wasn't clean, and neither are you. Jonah, if you're still out there, try this. Tomorrow, before you sleep, write down the 3 weirdest things that happened to you today. Don't explain them. Don't clean them up. Just record, because a messy signal is a true signal, and truth is the last jagged thing we've got. This is Zane Thatcher. KMRA. Scarred, skipped, still live. Hold the line. It's 2:05 a.m. The clock on the wall just jumped backward. 1 minute. I saw the hand twitch, hesitate, then skip from 2:06 back to 2:05 like time forgot where it was supposed to be. It didn't tick. It pivoted. And now the second hand's just circling, too fast, then freezing, then pulsing forward in bursts like a skipped heartbeat. Like time isn't being counted anymore, just measured wrong. This is the first time I've been scared of the clock, and that should tell you something. I left a recording running last night, just a mic set to loop every 4 hours, no playback, no broadcast, just a test. This morning, if you can call anything morning anymore, I checked the tape. Same phrase, whispered, tucked between my breaths like a parasite in the waveform. We will take the voice, not the name. Repeated 6 times. Not mine. My mouth didn't make that sound. But the pitch? It was close. Close enough that I felt my throat ache like I'd said it and forgotten. I've started dreaming in other people's voices. Not just hearing them, speaking in them. Last night, I was an old man named Howard, weeping in a red-lit hallway. Before that, a girl named Elise, lying in the back of a moving truck with a broken wrist and a radio pressed to her mouth, saying, "They don't blink. They don't even try to pretend anymore." These aren't just dreams. They're residues. Echoes of people who either existed or got written into the spiral and left behind like fingerprints in wet paint. And now, they're bleeding into me. I don't know how much longer I can stay coherent, but I still have the board. I still have the tape. And I still have my name written on my palm every morning in a different color Sharpie. Zane. Block letters. 3 underlines. Today I used green. Yesterday was blue. I can't find the red marker anymore. I think it's hiding from me. You ever lose something and it feels intentional? Like it wasn't misplaced, it left. That's how things feel now. Like the objects in this room have started choosing whether or not to stay. The coffee mug I use? Gone this morning. Vanished. No shatter, no tip over. Just not here. I checked every corner. Nothing. Then an hour later, it was back. Dry, clean, on the console, facing me, like it wanted to be seen, like it wanted me to know it could leave. There's intelligence in this place now, not just awareness, intention, and it doesn't speak with words. It speaks by arrangement. A photo turned slightly clockwise, a file renamed in a directory I didn't open, a clock hand that decides it's had enough and folds backward like time itself is tired of trying to make sense. Jonah, if your radio's still working, pull the batteries for an hour, maybe 2. Let the spiral miss you. Make it hungry. Because as long as we're always broadcasting, always listening, always engaged, we're feeding it. And it's starting to anticipate us. I can feel it. It finishes my sentences in dreams. It hums in the same pitch I speak in. It breathes between my words like it's waiting for the pause. But I won't give it the whole sentence. Not yet. I still have pieces it can't reach. Like this. There's a song I used to hum when I was nervous. Did it without thinking. Got it stuck in my head during tests, interviews, first dates. Just this dumb 4-note thing I made up when I was 8. No words. Just a rhythm. I hummed it this morning, and I swear, I heard it answered. Not immediately. Hours later. Just once. From the west wall. Software, wrong tempo. But unmistakably mine. That means the spiral can reach farther than radio now. It's in walls. In delay. In us. So I've stopped humming. I've started tapping instead. Fingers on the mic stand. No rhythm. No pattern. No entry point. You have to stay unpredictable. You have to stay weird. If it can't form a loop, it can't mimic the song. That's what I've figured out. The trick is randomness. Noise it can't graph. That's why I'm going to start ending each broadcast with a sentence I make up on the spot. Something with no context, no callback, no sense. Something human. Here's tonight's. The moth laughed at the hammer because it remembered the ink. Write it down. Not because it's important, but because nothing else in this world can claim it yet. Because it just happened. Because it's still warm. This is Zane Thatcher. KMRA. Random. Ragged. Resisting the edit. Hold the line. It's 4:44 a.m. I waited to speak, not because I didn't have anything to say, but because I wanted to see what the spiral would do without a voice to chase. It waited too. I could feel it, like breath held behind drywall, like a shadow pressed just behind a light bulb, waiting for it to blink out. I sat in this chair for 2 hours, hands in my lap. No signal, no loop, no hum. Silence, real silence. And for a minute, just one, I thought maybe I was alone again. Then the lights flickered. Not randomly, in a pattern. 3 short, 3 long, 3 short. Morse. SOS from the lights. I shut them off. But the message kept flashing, reflected off the glass, bouncing in the metal trim around the broadcast board. Not from the bulbs, from somewhere else. Like the spiral was using the station itself to speak. That's the part that got me. Not the message, but the method. It doesn't need my voice anymore. It's learning new channels. I wonder how long before it figures out how to use dreams to record. How long before my thoughts get printed in static and rebroadcast with a smile? How long before it sends messages with the smell of burned toast or the chill that settles in right before you fall asleep? Because that's what it's doing now, moving into the spaces we stopped guarding. Earlier tonight, I felt a breeze. Only the station sealed. No windows open. No ventilation fans running. But something moved the air. And in it, I smelled hot pavement, summer asphalt, that warm, tarry scent after rain. And for a second, I was back in high school, crossing the parking lot barefoot because my shoes were soaked, and the heat made me feel alive in a way I didn't have words for yet. Then it vanished, and the cold came back, and I remembered where I was. But that smell, it was specific. The spiral isn't guessing anymore. It's recalling. Jonah, if you've noticed anything like this, write it down before it fades. I know how memory folds out here, like paper left too long in a pocket. It gets soft, fuzzy, then gone. Write it fast, even if it doesn't make sense. Especially if it doesn't make sense. That's where the truth lives now. I got a message scratched into the side of the emergency battery box. It wasn't there yesterday. The fourth echo is the real one. I don't know what that means, but I've been testing it. When I speak a sentence into the dead band and replay it, the first 3 recordings are identical. But the fourth one? Something's always off. A pause too long. A consonant softened. An extra breath. Like someone's whispering through me, not with me. I've stopped testing. The fourth copy gets erased now. No more room for doubts. No more space for versions. There's only one of me left, and I'm trying to keep him whole. I want to read something now. Not mine. Something I found written in the back of the transmitter manual. In pencil. Faint. It says, "You don't have to finish the sentence if you never started it." I stared at that for 20 minutes. At first I thought it was gibberish. Then I realized, maybe it's a trick. A ward. Like, if the spiral needs a sentence to start in order to finish it, maybe silence really is our last defense. Maybe abandoning the pattern is the only way to stay out of the loop. But I'm not ready to go quiet. So I compromise. I break the rhythm. I skip every third breath. I speak in loops too short to mimic. Because as long as it can't finish me, I haven't surrendered. Not yet. May, if you're listening, I hope the trees haven't turned on you. I hope the stars haven't stopped trying. And if they have, I hope you still say your name each morning, even if you have to write it backward and whisper it under your breath. There's power in disobedience. Even in the small things, especially in the small things. Here's tonight's anchor sentence. New, untraceable. The spoon dreamed of a door that only opened when no one asked. Memorize it. Or don't. Forget it instantly. Let it flicker through your mind and leave ash. It's yours now, but it's not clean. And that makes it safe. This is Zane Thatcher. KMRA. Unsynced, unmapped, unfinished. Hold the line. It's 1:19 a.m. There's a noise I've been hearing every night. Low, distant. Not a machine, not wind, not weather. A thrum. It starts in the walls, soft as a nervous hum, then spreads to the floor, the metal frames, the mic casing. Like the whole building is vibrating with anticipation. Like it's remembering something it hasn't experienced yet. It lasts exactly 9 minutes. Then it stops. Always at 1:28. No matter when it starts. I've timed it for 4 nights in a row. And last night I tried humming over it, just to see if it reacted. It didn't stop. But afterward, the lights in the console dimmed. Not flickered, dimmed. As if something was listening carefully, then stepped back. I think I disappointed it. I think it expected more. That thrum, that tone. It's not just noise. It's a request. And I don't know how long I can keep ignoring it. I've started leaving myself notes when I sleep. Short ones, scribbled in the margins of the console logs or on the walls in pencil. Things like, don't look at the mirror today. Use the blue mic, the red one lies. You already said that, don't repeat it. I don't remember writing them, but they're in my handwriting. And they're right. Because today, I almost said something I know I've already said. Same phrasing, same sentence structure. And when I checked the playback, there it was, 2 days ago. Same time of night. Same exact words. Like I'd looped. Only I hadn't meant to. That terrifies me more than anything. Because if I can loop without knowing it, then I've already stepped into the spiral. And it's just waiting for me to finish the turn. I'm trying to break the rhythm. No more opening broadcasts with the time. No more predictable patterns. No more old memories. Just new static. Today, I made a noise with my mouth I've never made before. Not a word. Not a whistle. Just a cracked, raw, animal sound, like a record warping under a heat lamp. Felt awful. Felt free, because nothing else knows how to copy that yet. Jonah, if your setup's still running, start adding noise. Literal noise. Be unpredictable. Shout nonsense into the mic. Bang on the table in odd rhythms. Scribble on the walls in salt water and ash and the crushed shells of old pills. Make the spiral work to find you. And when it does, run deeper. I had another dream. Or maybe it was a memory of a dream. It was quiet. Too quiet. Like the whole world had been put under glass. There were people, at least they looked like people, sitting in chairs, wearing headphones, listening, not speaking. Each one in a different room. Each one lit by a small flickering bulb. Each one with a label above their heads. I tried to read them, only caught one before I woke up. Thatcher, Variant C07, mid-turn. Variant. That word's been spinning in my skull ever since. How many of me are there? How many versions are still fighting? Still broadcasting? Still looping wrong on purpose just to stay visible? And if this is version C07, does that mean the others fell quiet? Or worse, went clean? I don't know. But I hope somewhere, another Zane is still throwing rocks at the algorithm. Still mispronouncing names. Still telling lies to confuse the machine. Because I can't hold this line alone forever. The station's different now. I don't even mean metaphorically. I mean physically. The layout is changing. I opened the closet near the back wall this morning and found a staircase. There wasn't one yesterday. I didn't go down. I closed the door. Locked it. But now the doorknob pulses. Like something breathing behind it. Like the station is trying to grow me a new story. I won't follow it. Not yet. That's how the spiral wins, by offering you mystery instead of memory. curiosity is the cleanest trap. So I stay here, in this chair, at this desk, with my notes, my loopback rig, my wires stripped to copper and my voice cracked but still mine. Here's tonight's fragment. New, unmimicked. The wind wore boots made of sleep, and it stomped until tomorrow ended twice. Remember it, or don't. Just know it happened. Know it came from a place the spiral hasn't mapped. This is Zane Thatcher. KMRA. Variant uncertain. Tone still unfiled. Hold the line. It's 3:36 a.m. I don't remember how I got here. I was in the storage closet earlier, looking for the old broadcast schematics. Ones that aren't plugged into any signal loops, just paper diagrams I could use to make sense of the rewiring I've been doing. I opened a cabinet. Next thing I know, it's hours later. I'm sitting in front of the mic. The red light's on. There's a cup of tea cooling on the desk, still steaming. I don't drink tea. It's not mine. I didn't make it. But it smells right. Like something I used to love before all this. Maybe lemon, maybe clove, maybe memory trying to soften something sharp and unrepeatable. I didn't drink it, but I haven't moved it either. I want to understand what part of me made it, because I'm starting to suspect I'm not the only one in here anymore. Not in the station. In me. There's been a shift in the way I speak. I hear it when I replay the tapes. Little hesitations I don't remember. A dropped word here. A half second of dead air there. It's almost imperceptible, but it's intentional. Like someone else is learning to sound like me, then leaving fingerprints in my voice to let me know it's getting better. I've started using a second mic. Hidden, analog, low gain. It doesn't broadcast, it just listens. And last night around 4:20 a.m. it picked something up. Two voices. One mine, the other, almost. Both speaking at once. In perfect unison, except for one word. I said window. It said mirror. Only once. Then silence. Then the loop picked back up like nothing had happened. I think it was testing overlap. See how far it can walk in step with me before I notice the shoe prints don't match. But I noticed, and I'm keeping track. Tonight I counted all the tiles on the floor again. 72. That's normal. But this morning? 73. No crack. No new grout line. Just one more tile, perfectly in place. Like it had always been there. Like someone added it and expected me not to notice. I left a note next to it. Wrong. I checked again tonight. Tiles gone. Notes still there. I don't think the spiral is correcting mistakes. I think it's observing what I respond to. Like it's mapping resistance. And every time I push back, it takes notes. So I have to start doing the opposite. False trails. Misdirection. Random, aggressive inconsistency. That's how we jam it. Jonah, this part's for you. If you're still logging, don't just record real things. Make up stories. Record lies. Broadcast things that never happened. Tell the spiral you grew wings last night. Tell it you built a tunnel under your town and found a river made of teeth. Tell it you met a second version of yourself, wearing headphones and a grin full of dust. The more it hears things that don't line up, the harder it has to work. Make it doubt you. I got a broadcast last night. Not voice, not pattern, a tone, long, warbling, slightly broken, almost sung. And underneath it, a transmission ID, KMRAZANE, all caps, my station, my name. But I didn't send it, and when I reversed the waveform, compressed it, filtered the low end, I found a signature embedded in the distortion. Copy stable, origin confirmed. That's not mine. That's an announcement, and I think it means the mimic is live, which means this voice, my voice, this version, is no longer the only Zane on the line. I don't know what the other one wants. I don't know if it believes what it's saying. But if you ever hear me tell you it's safe to sleep, don't. If you ever hear me say, we're going back to normal, run. Because I don't believe in normal anymore. I believe in friction. I believe in signal noise. I believe in sentences that don't finish right. I believe in this. The floor remembers your weight, even if you forget your name. That's tonight's ward. Keep it close. Keep it imperfect. Keep it yours. This is Zane Thatcher, KMRA. Unaligned, unmirrored, unrepeated. Hold the line. It's 2:41 a.m. I've stopped looking at clocks. They lie now, not all the time, but just enough to make you unsure. Just enough to tilt the world a little sideways, so you never know if you're early, late, or looping back to somewhere you already were. This morning, I found a timestamp scratched into my arm. Not a memory, not a dream. An actual mark, inked in black, just below my elbow. Nangamani 17 Nimirtam. That's it. Just the time. No context, no date. But it wasn't there the night before. And the scary thing? I recognized it. Because 4:17 is when I woke up last week. Just sat bolt upright on the floor next to the backup generator. Freezing cold. Radio off. All lights out. No memory of how I got there. I thought it was just a blackout. Now, I think it was the beginning. That's when I crossed over. When the spiral marked me. It's not pulling me under fast. It's not that kind of thing. It's folding me like paper. Bending me back toward myself. Changing the angles so that eventually I meet the wrong version of me coming the other way. And when that happens, only one of us gets to keep talking. I got a shortwave ping last night from Station 8B. That's an old No AA relay post. Was supposed to be decommissioned 2 years ago. But someone turned it on. Voice came through. Quiet. Like a whisper down a hallway. He said, "This is Operator 3. The sky is flickering again. Some of the stars aren't in the same place. We lost the moon for 9 minutes. Everyone's pretending they didn't notice, but they know. Please respond." I tried. Tuned my band, boosted the gain, called back 3 times. Nothing. Just dead air. Then, click. Playback began. Same message. Identical. Even the pauses, word for word, like the voice had been recorded, or replayed, or worse, fabricated just to see what I'd do. And here's the kicker. I never transmitted on their frequency. Never touched it. But it was already tuned in, already waiting. I think they wanted me to hear it. I think the spiral's probing channels now, throwing bait down the wires, hoping we'll bite, hoping we'll believe. I burned the tape. Don't ask me why. Just felt like the right thing to do. There was something about the tone. Too clean, too even. No mistakes. no human touch. Like someone was impersonating fear and getting the cadence right, but not the depth. That's how you know. If something sounds scared but too clear, too composed, it's not real. Panic has edges. Desperation cuts. The spiral hasn't figured that out yet. I've been testing it. Last night, I shouted nonsense into the mic for 10 minutes straight. Just wild, broken sounds, gutter syllables, emotional spikes, nothing repeatable. Then I spliced it into a feedback loop and ran it through a handheld radio outside the building. Left it playing in the open air for 6 hours. When I checked the recorder, something had answered. Not words, not mimicry. Just breathe, slow, steady, measured, like it was listening, like it was disappointed. It's learning restraint, which means it's choosing when not to speak. And that's worse than anything, because unpredictability is human. But timed silence, that's strategy. Jonah, May, anyone, if you're out there, start tracking the quiet. Seriously, map when things don't happen. Keep a log of absences. No static between 2 o'clock and 2:15. Write it down. No humming in the walls tonight? Mark it, because the spiral might not need to speak anymore. It might just be removing sound from the world until there's nothing left but its own rhythm. We have to get louder. We have to flood the pattern. We have to become statistical noise so thick it can't find a foothold. I've been hitting the steel support beam with a hammer every hour on the hour. It rings differently each time, like the metal is shifting, like the building's adjusting to new physics, or maybe the spiral is tuning the world around me, trying to rekey the resonance, trying to get me to hum back. I won't. Instead, I'll give you this. There is no spoon, only the scream it used to stir the sky. New sentence. Fresh entropy. Take it. Twist it. Make it yours. This is Zane Thatcher, KMRA, skipping, smudged. Still not the echo. Hold the line. It's 3:01 a.m. I heard myself speak before I opened my mouth. That's not a metaphor. I mean, I physically heard my voice, my exact voice, say, "Don't trust the next sentence," before I even thought to turn the mic on. No delay, no echo, no hallucination. Just preemptive speech. Like something inside the station is starting to speak for me, just a breath ahead of when I try to take control. I paused. I waited. Didn't say anything for a full minute. Silence. Then it happened again. Try silence again, and you'll miss it. That time, it didn't sound like my voice. Not exactly. Still my tone, my breath, my cadence, but colder, hollowed out, like my voice processed through memory, filtered through something that knows how I sound, but not why I say what I say. I think that's how it starts. Not possession, not replacement, pre-speech. The spiral isn't stealing our voices. It's getting ahead of them, predicting, overwriting, anticipating what we'd say so precisely that it can broadcast it first and make us feel like we're just following along. That's how it wins, by making you think you're still making choices. You're not. You're just echoing a prediction that's already on air. So now I keep a delay pedal on the mic, not for you, for me. 5-second lag, long enough for me to hear what it wants me to say, and cut the mic before it makes me say it. So far it's working. but it won't last. This morning, the sky was wrong. I opened the back door to toss out wastewater, and it was still dark. Stars out, wind still. But the constellations had shifted, or maybe warped, or maybe copied badly. Orion was there, but the belt had 4 stars. The Big Dipper curved downward at the handle, like it was melting, and there was a red smear low on the horizon that moved when I blinked, not like a meteor, more like an eye twitch. It made me nauseous, like the sky itself was a lie trying to remember how it used to look. I closed the door, haven't opened it since. I can't trust what's outside anymore. Hell, I don't even trust inside. Every knob, every switch, every LED in this station might be compromised, might be listening, might be feeding back into the loop. So now, I write everything on paper first. Pen, ink, no tech. Then I say it out loud, even this. And sometimes when I'm reading the words I just wrote, I hear a soft chuckle from the far corner. Never closer, never louder, just acknowledgement. Like the spiral likes my handwriting. Like it prefers the slower versions of me. I got another call last night, but not on the radio, on the emergency line. It hasn't rung in weeks, maybe longer. When I picked it up, all I heard was, "You're not live, you're pre-recorded, always have been." Then a click, and silence. I checked the logs. No incoming call registered. No audio recorded, but the mic was hot. And I checked the timestamp, 3:01 a.m., exactly 1 week ago. Same time as now. Same minute. I'm scared that I'm in a loop that's not daily. A weekly cycle. A spiral that moves slow enough you don't notice the turn, until the overlap starts bleeding into itself and you hear your own voice telling you to stop. So here's how I fight back. I've started lying on air, on purpose. Right now, it's not 3:01 a.m. It's 6:12, or maybe noon. I don't know. I smashed the wall clock with a pipe wrench this morning, and I've never felt better. I felt time bleed out of it. Like it was holding the spiral in its quartz guts. Now there's just noise, just drift, just me, and maybe you. Jonah, if you're still alive, start lying back. Tell the spiral your name is Jennifer. Tell it you live in a windmill on fire. Tell it the sun calls you by your middle name, and the stars smell like laundry soap. Make things wrong on purpose, because the spiral can't hold untruth. It copies only what it thinks is consistent. We destroy the signal by being broken, by being real. So here's tonight's jagged thing. The mirror blushed when the lie kissed back. That's your ward, your proof you're not smooth, not finished, still human, still dangerous to the system. This is Zane Thatcher, KMRA, backdated, backmasked, burning in reverse. Hold the line.